In the UK, between 4 and 5 million people a month listen to the radio on the internet, but they don't tend to listen for very long periods at a time. And we think this is because it's really quite hard to use like a radio. You can't store your favourite stations, everybody's websites and web players work differently. So the BBC and commercial radio have been working together over the last few months to come up with a model for a UK radio player. Every radio station that joins Radioplayer uses a similar web player, a pop-up window. This is how it would launch if it launched from a small station like Juice in Brighton, a small commercial radio station on the south coast. As you can see, the core Radioplayer console is quite a small thing. You can drag it over to one side of your desktop, you can be working on a spreadsheet, you can be in Facebook, you can be in email, or you can be just having a browser window open next to it. Very, very easy to use alongside other things. The core controls of the radio player, the core consistent controls, are all at the top, so users can easily turn down the volume.
Lady Gaga and Alejandro on Brighton Street 107.2 and Katy Perry before that.
And you can start and stop the stream with a simple play button.
Today, for Brighton and Hove Albion fans,
you can always click on the playing tab to see what's going on.
We'll get to that shortly. First, let's have our full times from the Premiership. Full-time results.
And this is where you store your favourite stations, your presets, if you like. When the user first visits Radioplayer, these presets are all empty, but I've put in the 5 stations that are currently in the prototype version of Radioplayer just to speed things up. So clicking on a logo changes the station. This is Absolute Radio's Radioplayer console. They've kept the consistent audio controls from the radio player at the top, but in the bottom section they're running a video pre-roll. They've commercialised the bottom section so that a sponsor can do a takeover. While that's running, we'll just have a look at how you can drag and drop your presets. So a user can change the order of their favourite radio stations by clicking on Edit and then dragging and dropping the logos in a very familiar way.
In that England game where he wasn't even looking at the fella and they said it was a foul. You've got all these radio stations.
The elbow
yeah, he weren't even looking at the fella.
Malicious.
Now the thing is, I've listened to the radio stations, I've listened to some of the press, and they're saying, oh, it's not the way forward for England.
Once that's done, you click save,
you know, why,
and then you can switch stations again.
Why can't we just say, instead of desperately trying to qualify for Euro 2012 with people like Kevin Davies, why don't we write...
This is the BBC Radio 2 radio player console. As you can see at the top, you've got consistent audio controls.
2 albums, and then I think he kind of disappeared a little bit after that. But I was a member.
But in the bottom section, what we call the plug-in space, the BBC is choosing to power that from the iPlayer, which we'll look at in a minute.
Essentially, you're the version of a mason when it comes to that.
Because they're part of Radioplayer, up in the top section, the consistent controls bring you now playing information.
Very strong.
And obviously your presets are still there with all the BBC and commercial stations that you want in front of you. In the bottom section, on the BBC players, you can click across to iPlayer functionality, which is all being pulled into the bottom section of the console.
What did you get from that? Did they send you anything good?
Well, do you know, all I can remember is I got 2 little badges.
Every station in Radioplayer is 1 click away from every other station.
One sort of maybe a face of Nick and the other.
So here we are on Smooth Radio with their very distinctive branding, but still within the Radioplayer framework. They're using a carousel of promotional images at the top of their plug-in space and a flash MPU ad at the bottom. Now, one of the most powerful features of the Radioplayer is the search box, which appears on every console. Now, there's only 5 stations in Radioplayer at the moment in this alpha version, so the search experience is not as rich as it will be when there are hundreds, but this shows you how the results are displayed in the body of the console. The Heart Radioplayer console very cleverly uses slideshow images at the top of their plug-in space with dynamic real-time information, but this also demonstrates how onwards journeys can be encouraged. Users can click on links within the console to pop browsers or to find more detailed information while the stream continues to play. We'll be adding stations throughout late 2010 and we'll be launching to the public in early 2011. So please go onto our blog or info site ukradioplayer.info if you want any more information. Thanks for watching.